Happy Independence Day, Jackie and Jim.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Welcome, everyone, to another podcast. Thank you so much for being here and joining us on this wonderful podcast. Hope your day is fantastic. I noticed that 68% of viewers here are not subscribed to this channel, so don't forget to subscribe. And also, please subscribe, like, and share this episode. Really appreciate that. You would not believe who we have on our show today. She needs no introduction. Jackie DiMaggio, who's considered to be America's sweetheart. She isn't just a singer, she's a storyteller, a soul lifter, and a voice that echoes across generations. Now, America's Sweetheart, Jackie blends the timeless elegance of the golden age with the emotional depth of modern music. Her journey from singing for thousands as a child to performing for presidents and headlining faith driven tours is rooted in authenticity, purpose, and grace. Whether she's honoring legends like Connie Francis, my favorite, and Whitney Houston, obviously, or delivering her own heartfelt ballads, Jackie's voice is more than sound. It's sanctuary, and it's pristine, pristine voice. Now, as Jackie steps a new chapter with her new group Chosen by Grace in summer 2025, which both of them are actually in as well. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Jackie continues to use her gift not just to entertain, but to heal. Music heals, inspires, and unites people. And her music is a ministry. Her performance is a celebration of faith. Her music is a ministry. Her performance is a celebration of faith, family, and resilience. In a world hungry for something real, Jackie DiMaggio reminds us that one voice, and there's a very Manilow song called One Voice, fantastic song. One voice filled with truth and love can still move mountains. Welcome to our show, Jackie. Really pleased to meet you.
Thank you. Thank you for having me, Chris.
You're very welcome. Happy that you are here, James Norkawich, multi-instrumentalist. He's got what, 9 albums now?
11, but news counting.
11. And we all know Jackie with a beautiful voice. Okay, Jackie, let's go back to the beginning. Where did your singing roots begin, and how has your Italian American upbringing shaped your identity as an artist?
So, my music all began at the age of 3 in church. Um, we belonged to a church, my family and I was always in the Christmas pageants and in all of the performances that they had for the holidays, and that was my first audience, was my church. And you know, growing up in a Christian family and a Christian household, it really it shaped who I am today as a singer. I do love to minister through my music. I love to touch people through my music, and so that audience really brought out the best in me and gave me all the encouragement that, of course, my family did too, that I could get at that such a young age. And then, as I grew up, I was always a bold little girl. I just got there. I just got on stage, grabbed that mic, and did what I had to do. But as I grew up, my family was always there behind me to back me up, to encourage me. And I continued on ever since. And I've always had the passion to want to be in front of a large crowd to share my voice that God gave me, because I feel it's very important to give him all the glory and the honor that he gave me this gift to share with others. And so then I just continued on, and here I am today. And a lot of people know me, a lot of people don't know me, but I hope that the whole world will come to know me soon.
I hope so too. Lovely voice you have. Amazing. It's incredible how you sound. Was there anyone else in your family who sang?
My dad, I definitely got the voice from my dad, but he never pursued that because I think he was always a little, had a little stage fright. So I only performed with him once. We have one recording of that. And but my dad is a very good singer. He can hold a Frank Sinatra tune like you can't imagine. I don't know why he never had the boldness to actually get on stage and do it, but
Mm.
I think his calling was somewhere else.
Wow. Yeah. Well, yeah, it's incredible. I bet you he's very proud of you.
He is. He is.
Did you always want to pursue music, or was there something else that came first?
No, I always wanted to pursue music. Starting at such a young age, there's not really much at a young age, or what you want to do at a young age. But once I started singing, my parents actually noticed at 3 years old that I was humming in perfect pitch. I wasn't really talking much yet at that age, and my mother was like, she's got perfect pitch, like, humming these songs. And they noticed something, and they were like, oh, okay, we need to like, we need to get on this, like. But I just continued singing because that was music was always a part of, like, my family. Music was always important to my family, especially growing up in an Italian American household with my grandparents. My grandfather would play all the older songs, and Connie Francis. That's why she's so special to me, because my grandfather would always play Connie for me. And so I do everything from the 50s all the way up to now. And those songs just resonated with me at such a young age. And so after exploring all the different genres of music I can do, because I have a very wide variety of music that I sing, those just were very, very special to me. And a lot of the Italian numbers I do are the ones that my grandfather taught me, the ones that he coached me on. You need to pronounce this correctly, Jackie, and that's what I think of when I sing those songs. And he passed a couple of years back,
Mm.
but I know he's looking down on me and he's proud of me for doing the things that he taught me that are just going to be resonating with me. And now I'm passing them along to my children, and they're listening to my, Italian numbers that I sing, and they love it too. So it's very special to me to do those.
Jackie, do you remember what the first song you remember falling in love with and why?
Hmm, that's a hard one. There were definitely a lot of Christian songs that I started off with, but I could say that um, at a very young age, because we always listened to older music. My dad's a big Frank Sinatra fan.
Mm.
So some of those songs were definitely special to me. But I think the one song that I really started singing at first that drew people to listen, and this was when I was little, was the My Heart Will Go On in the Titanic. And
Hmm.
because Celine Dion is one of my biggest idols, and she still is to this day. And that song, just knowing that she did that song, I mean, there's a little history behind that song. She performed that song when she recorded that song. I believe they used her very first recording. She didn't have to take two, take three. She did it, and she did it perfect the first time she recorded it. And I loved the movie, but I heard her voice and I was like, who is this? Because I was so little. And then once I found out who she was, I started looking her up, and I was like, wow, she's French. Like, and I was like just drawn in by her voice. Her voice was definitely my number one back then. And that was probably my favorite song as a little kid growing up. Doing that song, My Heart Will Go On. It's a beautiful song. But that's probably one of my favorites. It's hard to pinpoint my favorite song, but that's probably one of my favorites.
Yeah. So, what are three achievements and three pitfalls in your career, Jackie?
Three achievements. Well, I could say the biggest achievement so far was for singing for our current president. That was definitely a very highlighted moment in my career. I've won a lot of idol competitions. I was named the Italian American Idol winner of New York. Um, I did a lot of performances with some legends. Peebo Bryson, Larry
Hmm.
Chance was a very dear friend of mine. Larry Chance. He gave me a lot of good uh, advice throughout the years, and I don't really like to talk too much about my achievements because I feel like my mission is more or less like I want to just touch people with my voice. I just want to share. I don't want to always win the competitions. I'm not always looking to win at everything. I'm looking to just share my God-given talent with the people, and that's so much more special to me than actually patting myself on the back and saying, "Oh, I won this and I won that," because the people and connecting with them, and after a show, like if I could bring you back to your grandparents' living room or when you were a little kid, and I could bring you back with all those songs that I sing, I feel like that is so special because music moves people, and like I said, music heals people. And if I could touch people with the voice that I was given, that's my satisfaction in what I do. And I'm doing it because I was given this, and I have to share it with the world. And if I could touch one person out of 100, I feel like I did my job as a singer, as a performer. And I love people. I'm a people person. So I always want to meet my audience after a performance. I'm always like trying to connect with people. And those are my biggest achievements, I feel like. But if you want to talk in just the aspect of what I've achieved as a singer, as a performer, um, the ones I mentioned before, singing for the president. I mean, when do you ever really get to sing for the president of the United States? That was a key moment, a very key moment, special moment. But there's a lot of little special moments in between that people don't really think they're special, but I know they're special because connecting with your audience, connecting with the people is just so important to me as an artist. And I don't feel like every artist feels that way. They're just there to do what they have to do and perform. But I love the feedback I get from my audience. Um, and as far as pitfalls, well, I think we've all had some pitfalls, especially during COVID. COVID really brought a halt to a lot of things that I was doing, and um, all the venues that I was planning on, going to sing at. Everything was just like canceled, and that was definitely was a scary time for everybody, and I think everybody could relate to that. But there's also people I've met along the way who've given me great opportunities to do this and to do that and be on big stages. And um, it's a hard industry. It's not an easy industry to be involved with, and you get a lot of people who are just out for themselves, and that's really not me. I'm very humble. Um, and there were a couple pitfalls, and there were a couple fails that happened, meeting different people and getting to know them and giving great opportunities, but not really working too well alongside them because of the person I am. And as James is, he could tell you he could tell you a little bit more about that. How humble I am. I think he's like cheering me on more than I'm cheering myself on here. But
And she's one of those vocalists that you know, the biggest thing, whether you're a writer, producer, or just an accompanist, like you always hear, whether male or female, or it could even be another instrumentalist, you know, there's those signs you see. Check your ego at the door.
Hmm.
And the thing about Jackie is that the ego's checked way beyond the door. Sh- to have somebody that's willing to put their heart and their mind and their music on the line, and to do whatever needs to get done, you just don't find at all.
Yeah. So, Jackie, what do you find is important in singing and working with someone, and why have you think you found that individual?
Um, well, we connected, James and I connected in March. He found me randomly, kind of, on Instagram. And, we just kind of like, he was like, hey, do you want to collaborate? And I was like, sure, like, let's have a conversation. And we hit it off the first conversation we had. We were just very alike in a lot of different ways we were alike, which sounds so silly, but it's like we're very alike, but he's so much like me, and whenever I have a sentence to finish, it's like he could finish my sentence, I could finish his, and we just kind of like hit it off the first time we spoke. And to be honest, I never had that. I never felt that with anybody else. And I think it has a lot to do with our Christian background and us just like, keeping God in the center of our music and in the middle of everything. I mean, He's the one that gave us these talents. And I feel like that's the most important thing to me, is to always keep God in the center of it, because if you eliminate Him, you're going to go through these trials. You're going to have errors. You're going to have all these different things that don't align the way that you want them to. And trusting in His plan for my life, I feel like James felt the same way. He was kind of just like trusting in God that we were praying kind of for each other for such a long time. I was like, Lord, just like let somebody come along that, can relate to me and can kind of fill in my shoes where I can't, and I could do the same for them. And that's how this started. And we've just built a relationship, and I feel like I've known him for my whole life. And I feel like, when God arranges that and you just kind of sit back and you let him drive, it'll happen. And especially through prayer. I mean, I'm a very firm believer in prayer, and I'm very spiritual. So I just kind of let God do what I can't do. And my plans are not always going to be the perfect ones. The plans that I have for my life are the different plans that He has for my life. So it's trust and prayer. And I found a very good friend who is willing to work with me and take me to different levels, and I hope I could do the same for him.
I love that. And then you came up with this new group called Chosen by Grace. I'm looking forward to hearing music from them and
Yes,
getting to know them and liking them, and that's
absolutely.
awesome. So excited, Jim. Really excited about that.
It's been it's hard to believe that it's been 4 months. You go, where
I
does
know. It's incredible.
4 months actually go by that fast?
Hmm.
And and the biggest thing is when you really, I mean, Jackie said it perfectly. You have to know who you're working with, and from a musical level to a personal level to a spiritual level. And we were both looking for that for years. And then when you find yourself, you find yourself caught in a rut, and you're like, is anything ever going to happen? Is anything ever going to come to fruition? And in the most least likeliest places, in the most, it just, everything is there. And like I said, yeah, I feel like I've known her my entire life. And it's like, geez, it's only 4 months, So, I mean, so it's exciting. It's exciting to see where we're in 4 months. What God has put together. What, say, you know, a year, 2 years, 3 years, 4 years down the line is going to happen.
Mhm. And I just feel like,
I have people like that.
I feel like I made, a lifelong friend. I
Hmm.
can't ever see myself not
Totally.
being friends with him. We just get along so well, and we have a lot of the same ideas, and I think we both have the same mission in hand. It's really touching people through music and ministering through music, and that's where it all start. That's where it's all going to start with Chosen by Grace.
That's interesting, Jackie. There's a question I want to ask you, but also I want to attribute it to Jim as well. So, Jackie, I'll ask you first. What role does faith play in your music and why? And then Jim, after her, you can respond.
Faith is faith is probably the biggest drive that I have behind my music. Is having faith to get up there and, like I said, to touch people, and just knowing that you're doing something right in your heart, for others to share that gift. And my faith has taken me through a lot of hardships in my life, and I actually wrote a song called Just Believe. I hope you get to listen to it. And that's basically the whole meaning behind that song, Just Believe, is having faith. And all you need to do is have just a little bit. Just a little bit can get you a really long way. But putting that song out, I think it really gave people hope, gave people faith that they could get through a hard time that they're going through. And we all go through hard times, but sometimes you need to, if you connect with music the way that we connect with music, it hits your heart, it hits your soul. And that's where the faith stems from. But you got to, you really have to be I have a relationship with God. I have a relationship with God. And that's where my faith comes in.
Yeah, Just Believe is an amazing song, and I felt the power. What's your creative process like when writing original music like Just Believe?
Well, that came with a whole story behind that song. My mother was very, very ill, and years ago, and they weren't giving us much hope. She just became very ill out of nowhere, really. And that song was written mainly because my mother is a miracle, and it's giving people hope that God does still do miracles. These things that happen, some people call them coincidences, but I call them miracles. And
Hmm.
um, I feel like in order for me to really write a song, I have to feel something so strongly in my heart, and I want to put that message out there for people to listen to, because I think a lot of people can relate. uh, and that's, when you feel something like that and you write it down on paper, and you get to collaborate with people that know how to write and know how to compose music. It's so powerful. And I feel like James and I, because we're so alike in that way, the power is really going to come out of all of what we do together. That is going to be a powerful, powerful, um, drive for who listens to us.
Yeah, with James there, definitely. James, so what does faith play in your music and why?
Well, I mean, faith is at the key root, the key center. I mean, without God, there is nothing. And the industry's so skewed with people who don't believe and people who put out all this stuff. And I mean, don't get me wrong, it sounds great. and it's good stuff. But at the end of the day, what is that? What are your core beliefs? What do you believe? Why do you get up in the morning and do what you do? Is it because it's just habit? It's just because it's routine? And that's, being in the music ministry, and that's where you get into the heart of where music is and what it's, like they say, you got to have soul. And what is soul? Soul is heart. Soul is drive.
Mhm.
I've never heard anybody with more drive than this woman right here. I mean,
Oh.
we were rehearsing just right in this room, right behind me, and I think we were doing my favorite things. And I know she has soul. I know she has drive, but in terms of these jazz chops, I took a book and threw it on the ground. I said, "That's it. I'm done." And I'm like, I'm like, that's soul. That's that's that thing you listen to. It's that it factor. You can't train someone to have that. You can go through all the rigmarole and like, you could graduate from Yale or Harvard or whatever. You can't teach somebody that. And that's what's so exciting about Jack. And it's so exciting that in a phone conversation, you'll get a concert too.
Yeah.
I do. I
Yeah.
do. I do. I'm lucky enough to have that. But that's because of what we're doing and what we see and how the whole process works. Like, we're probably the only two people who can carry 10 conversations on at once. And I can explain that in another podcast. But what's so important is you can't train soul. And that's what faith is giving. Faith is believing. Faith is knowing that not, let me get this straight.
Faith
It's knowing that
is the
yeah,
substance of things
it's
hoped for, the evidence of things not seen.
Mhm.
there you go.
Yes. That's what he's trying to say. See, I
Again,
could finish his
she
sentences.
she she finished my sentence. So that proves that we're on the right track. And
We're on the
again,
same
this
we're on the
woman
same
is
page.
like
Great. Yeah. Yeah.
she's
Amazing.
unlike anybody I've ever met or will ever meet. And that's I just consider myself
Yes.
very blessed.
Yeah. Jackie, that's interesting. Yeah. Thanks, Jim, for that. How do you approach interpreting a classic like Connie Francis or Whitney Houston while still making it your own?
Well, I mean, Connie Francis, I mean, I started listening to her at such a young age. I was always trying to make things my own. But I really feel like making it your own is fine. It's all well and good. Um, and it's special. But at the same time, I've heard a lot of, and, I listen to the people. I like to listen to the feedback I get from the people. And I feel that some people don't want to hear a song that they know from such a long time ago that they could reminisce about things, and they don't want it to be something different from what they've heard. They want it to be the same. And I feel like I could do that. I could make things my own because I have that musical ear. But at the same time, I want to bring people back, and I want people to hear what they've always heard, to reminisce on all the times, that they heard Connie, in the 1950s or in the 1960s doing her greatest hits. And I want them to say, wow, like she really reminds me a lot of Connie Francis. And that's why I've done all these legends and concerts. I've done Connie, I've done Whitney, I've done Celine Dion, I've done Leslie Gore, I've done,
Oh,
Donna Summer, uh, Karen Carpenter. The list goes on, and I feel like
there's one you have. Go ahead.
I feel like just people really want to hear what they're used to. And sometimes it could be a little intimidating to them if you try to make something that was so special to them your own. um, some people appreciate it. A lot of people appreciate it, but then I feel more so that a lot of people appreciate what they heard come out of my mouth that sounded like what they heard 50 years ago in their living room. And I mean, to do Whitney Houston, I mean, she's one of the greatest. To remake a song that she did, it's kind of like
Mhm.
you can't make it any better than what Whitney did it. How Whitney did it,
True.
Um, so yeah, I mean,
But
I feel like I do a lot of the artists I do. I try to do it very, very similar to how they do it, with my own little
ha-
twist, maybe.
have you sung "I Will Always Love You"? Because I know that whenever someone wants to sing down on like American Idol or America's Got Talent, Simon always goes, "That's a very hard song for a woman like you." That's what he says. You know.
Yes. Yes. You could actually go on YouTube and listen to a couple of those performances. I've done I Will Always Love You numerous times. It is a very hard song. But I have the gift, I have the range for it, and hopefully people enjoy me just as much as they enjoy Whitney. Um,
Yeah.
but it's not an easy song. Simon is right. It's not a very easy song to do.
Yeah. I remember. Do you remember Shelley Fabre? She was actually on the Donna Reed show. She was a retired actress, but she was on the Donna Reed show, and she was playing the leading lady, Elvis Presley, in Girl Happy in 1965. Well, she used to be a musician, and she had 4 studio albums. So I was wondering if maybe Shelley Fabre could be something you could sing, like "Spring Fever" or "Make Me Happy" or "Next Time I Say Goodbye" are pretty good songs by her as well.
Chris, I could probably sing whatever you want me to sing.
I I would second that.
James can back me up on that. He's like, how do you go from this to that? I'm just like,
I know. You remind me of
it,
that girl on yeah, you remind me of that girl on America's Got Talent. Remember she did the opera and then suddenly it switched to like a heavy metal song and she went, and I'm like going, "What? That's like how
yeah.
can you switch from a soprano to a metal musician?" It's amazing. Did you see that one? That
I
was amazing.
yeah,
Hmm.
I've learned not to challenge this woman on anything because I will lose. I will lose every single time. And just when I think
It's not a
this is
challenge.
actually
We're just
funny.
having fun.
Yeah, oh yeah, but I'm like Nora Jones, and then she ends up doing Nora Jones sounding like Nora Jones, and I'm like, I
Uh-oh.
can't.
So next time I hear Adele or Britney Spears, I'm going to be thinking maybe that's Jackie.
Maybe. Never know.
She could take on Christina. I mean, she could take on Adele. She could take and I'm not just saying that. There's not many people who can actually take it on into their own sound, and then make it better. I mean, and that's not a farce. That's real. And when you hear her do Celine Dion, it's just like it,
It
you,
comes
you,
from the
you
heart.
sit there. You sit, again,
Yeah.
you take this and you just throw it right across the room.
Yeah.
I don't want people
Amazing.
throwing books at me, though.
No, or tomatoes. But
Yeah, no,
you
no.
would really capture my heart if you could sing a Sia song, like
I can.
Snowman, or
I can.
uh, and sound like her too, because she's got a very unique
Um,
voice. And
I
I,
do
I
like her. Yes. What's the song? What's the song
Unstoppable,
that she does? Uh,
Titanium, any of those?
Christmas song. Uh,
Yeah, the Snowman.
there's another one.
Um,
Hey girl, can
Christmas.
lay with me. Mm-mm.
Every Day is Christmas. I think is another one I like.
There's a song. Oh, what do it's a song that I play all the time around Christmas, and she does it. It's not the snowman song. Uh,
Yeah, it's called Snowman.
Hold on. It's,
Let me see if I have it in my list here.
yeah, I
Oh shoot.
definitely have it in my list somewhere. Um,
Um,
Christmas playlists here. That's a definitely a big time of year for me, Christmas.
Snowman is my favorite song. I sing that all the time. What a
Oh, I
great
know what it
song!
is. I know what it is.
Which one?
Santa's coming for us.
I love that one.
Santa's coming for us. Santa's coming
Santa's
for
coming
us.
for us.
Yes.
Santa's coming for us. And whoa. Yeah, I love that one. I love that one. That's great.
Mhm.
And you know who's in that? Henry Winkler. I love that.
Oh,
That's the
yeah.
reason I love that video with Henry Winkler's in it.
Okay.
Um, yeah, you got a wonderful voice. And it's been described as a warm embrace wrapped in melody. How do you emotionally prepare for a performance?
Prayer. Prayer is what I do before I perform, what I do after I perform. Um, that's where it stems from. And God gave me the talent. So if I if I'm going to prepare for an emotional performance, or if I'm going to emotionally prepare for that, I just my prayer is always, Lord, let me touch people. Let me show people the light in me and who I am as an artist. Let them come and meet me and tell me how they felt and what I did for them in the hour performance that and that's where I start. That's where I end is prayer. Um, but you know, when like I always have like it's not really an anxious feeling. I don't know how to describe it, but like when I'm standing behind stage and I'm ready to go out, like to get out there, it feels like it takes years. I'm sure James can relate to this a lot. It feels like it takes like a year. Like you're standing behind stage and somebody is introducing you and it's like, okay, when am I going to get on stage? Like, and then once I get on stage, I'm like, I don't want anybody to cut my time off. Like, I just want to stay there. And because once I get into that stance and that moment, it's just like, I'm doing this not for myself. I'm doing this for others. And I just want to keep on giving. Like I'm a giver. I love to give. Um, Christmas time, you should see under my tray what I have under my tray. I mean, like I want to give to people. But the gift of music is so powerful because it could do so many different things and it can move so many different things. And whenever I'm having a tough time, like a hard day or something, I just start singing. And the feeling you get, I mean, that's where my piece is. And especially the songs that I was brought up with, all the Christian songs that I was brought up with that give you that hope and that give you that God's always there, you're never alone, is like is something that I'm sure a lot of people can relate to, but other people escape in different ways. That's where I escape. So once I'm standing on stage, I'm like, I want to stay there. I don't want to leave because that's my piece.
Do
And I know
you
what that, and I know.
mhm. Go ahead.
I was gonna say, I know what that unsettling feeling is. It's like, it's an antsy. It's just like you're ready to explode. You're ready to get, you're ready to get
Mhm.
working, you know, and you know, once you're out there, it's a chance to breathe. It's a chance to, you can exude everything that your mind is processing. And that's one thing is like, the build up to everything is the worst. Once you get out there, you're set, you're good, and
Yeah.
there's no worries.
Mhm.
Yeah, Jackie, you were saying that you like to sing when you have a bad day. So I'm thinking that do you usually sing a song that deals with your situation? Like, for instance, if you're in a garbage dump, you sing "Toxic" by Britney Spears or something.
Well, thankfully, I've never been in a garbage dump.
Well, I'm just trying
Um,
to let you know
I
that
know
that's
what
what
you're
I mean. Like,
saying. I know what you're saying. Well, you know what? Honestly, sometimes, believe it or not, I mean, yeah, I have a lot of songs that I kind of have right at hand here on my phone on a playlist. If I'm having a hard time, I'll just be like, okay, this is for bad. This is for a bad day. But sometimes it could help me make a song, and I start singing, just making up my own lyrics. I mean, I think a lot of people have done that through music. They're having a bad day and they write it down. They write it down on paper and they turn it into a song, and then it becomes some
mhm.
big hit. And I've definitely done that. But most of the time, like, like, I just incorporate music in everything. If I'm having a good day, if I'm having a bad day, if I'm
Yeah,
having an exciting day, like, let's play an anthem or something.
yeah.
It really is. Music is such a big part of my life that I really could connect it to anything. At anything I
Music is life. Yeah.
I love to cook. So
Absolutely.
I'm always cooking with my music on in the background.
Mm.
Um, I love to take walks. Music is always in my ears. Um, I I perform in front of my children almost every day. I sing them to sleep at night still, and my
Yeah.
kids are always asking me to sing. They want me to sing, Frozen, and I'm like, okay, I could be Elsa, or I could be, I could be Anna, and uh, it's just such a big part of my life that I could really incorporate it into anything I do.
Yeah, me too. Like I have a playlist for every so like cleaning my apartment. I have songs that sound like cleaning the apartment, and then I have one for buses, which makes it sound like I'm on a bus. And then there's one for cars. Ones that you would sing if you're in a car. But
You have the
as a
shower
big
playlist too, the ones that you sing in the shower.
I try to avoid singing in the shower, but
Oh, that's the best sound. The bathroom is
I'm
usually
a
the
big
best
Mel
sound.
C. I'm a big Mel
Oh,
C fan, and when it was a threat that I know I'd be terrible relationships I've had, but I'd sing "Better Alone" by Mel C, which is one "Better Alone," my dear. So yeah, it's true. Sometimes you want to be alone, but Jackie, yeah, you talking about um, your you know a warm embrace wrapped in melody and preparing for a performance. Um, do you how do you balance vocal technique with emotional storytelling?
it all comes from the heart, Chris. Um, Sometimes I'll I'll practice a song, right, over and over, and the way I deliver it on stage will be completely different to the way that
Oh wow.
the way that I've practiced it.
Hmm.
I can't really explain that in words. Uh, I think that you'd have to see me in action in order to really feel that. Um, it's really not something you could prepare for either. It's just like it's the gift that's inside of me, and like I said, I could be practicing this song for months and deliver it so differently on stage than I do when just because I feel that maybe because there's an audience, and maybe, like, my spirit's telling me, like, I really have to push this harder, or I have to dig down deep to really, like, nail it in the heart. You know what I mean? And it's something you can't really put into words, but if you see me, if you have the pleasure of coming to see me one day, I feel like you'll understand it the way that I am as an artist, as opposed to others.
I there's just a case in point. It was raining. We were just sharing. ideas and things, and the key word was smile.
Mm.
And she busted out in a version of Charlie Chaplin's Smile. And that actually brought the temperature of the conversation. Even me, I was like, okay.
Falling asleep to me.
You know,
It's my serenade.
it was, it was, that's
Hmm.
how much power and how much emotion, is truly. I don't think that's something that can be taught. It's
Mm.
just it has to be organic, and it has to be fed into and built over, period of time. She's got it. So
Yeah, I don't know if Jackie, you ever heard of Brandy Carlile?
Hmm. That sounds
She
familiar.
she's been around for a while, but I just discovered a gem of hers called "The Joke." And when I heard that song, it just resonated with me. I was just crying. It's like, this is a great song. The Joke, it's a great song. And some songs literally resonate with me. And sometimes I'm like, I don't like this genre. I don't like this genre. And then there's a song from that genre, and I'm like, I love it. Um, what's one genre you haven't explored yet, but would love to?
Hmm. Oh wow, that's a hard one because I think
Ladies and
I've
gentlemen,
done
rapping Jackie.
pretty much. Yeah, you're throwing me for. Yeah, you're throwing. I don't know.
she does that.
I
She
don't
actually
know.
raps.
I
Don't
do.
Oh, wow.
believe it or not.
I can rap. I
Oh,
can
my
rap.
goodness.
Um, Listen, I'm not one to toot my own horn, so James can tell you. um, I have done pretty much
Take
every
advice
genre.
from her, Jim.
Oh wow, that's a hard one. What do you think, James? I call him
Well,
James.
she
I
definitely
love to
had.
call him James. I don't call him Jim.
Okay, James.
Definitely.
You can call him Jim. I don't mind. I'm just telling you, I call him James. I don't want people to think there's four people here.
I called him James until
um,
one of his friends told me, "Why don't you call him Jim?" I said, "I don't think he allows me to." And he said, "Of course, I call him Jim all the time." And I called
Oh,
James Jim.
I
Yeah.
love the name
I was
James.
sorry.
afraid to call him Jim. I thought you were going to be like, "No, it's James." Like some people say, "No, call me Bill. Call me William." It's like ridiculous. But go ahead, Jim. Sorry.
you know, she definitely can do Broadway, which is which is exactly the opposite of classical crossover. And one of her signature songs is Adi La. So I mean, so you could say classical crossover is taken, and you can say Broadway's taken. The only genre that she probably hasn't.
Opera.
She's gonna give me a second.
Well, I've shown off my opera side in a couple
Mm.
of different performances.
Yeah,
It
I mean, maybe full opera in
right,
Italian.
okay. Maybe like a full right. That's probably the only one that I could think of. But some people, have heard me do songs and even duets with others, and they're like, "Do you sing opera?" And I'm like, "No, I just have a really high soprano voice." I mean, but I could go from alto to high soprano, and I have a very wide range of.
And mezzo
I think that
soprano, coloratura. Yeah.
I think that really plays a part in it too. When you have such a wide range, you could do a lot of different types of genres of music, and I feel like
You,
that's really what happened. That's
Jackie,
really
I
what
think
happened.
you've reached that peak. I'm not saying sort of Mount Everest, sort of like Jackie, when Lucy Kay sang Nessun Dorma, which is specifically the male part in Turandot, Puccini's opera.
Mhm.
She sang a great rendition of Nessun Dorma. Now, I don't know if you could do Nessun Dorma, but I'll tell you one thing. If I were there and watched you sing Nessun Dorma, lunch is on me.
I could probably pull that off. Yes, I could. Um, I'm always up for a challenge. So Challenge me, James. I'm always up for a challenge. I love to be challenged. I love that because that's what pushes you. That's what makes you better. And I feel like that's probably really the only genre of music that I've never really tapped into is that opera,
Mm.
you know. I guess it's also where you are too, where you're performing, who you're performing for. Um, but I could sound it. I could sound like I do opera if I really tried. But I was not trained to do opera. So I would probably have to have a little training for that.
Yeah,
The vibrato would fool you,
The
though. I mean,
vibrato's there. The vibrato's there.
that.
I love vibrato. Someone asked me, like, I have vibrato, and then people ask me, "Can you teach me vibrato?" So no, you either have it or you don't. You can't teach it. You have it, you don't.
Yes, that's definitely a fact. It's very difficult to do it if you can't. Um, you could definitely improve it if you have it already. You can improve it. That's what all of my years in musical, coaching and my music coach and my music teacher always helped me improve it. But it's hard when it's not there to find that.
Yeah, that's true. Like, no, I'm totally realizing now. Now you sang with People Bryson, and I know it must have been surreal.
Mhm.
But how did your voice match his? I can't. Like, I know how he sings. I know how you sing. How did you make it like together? Like, what did that moment mean to you? How did it work out?
Well, rehearsing, all we had to do was rehearse it once. I mean, that was so special for me because that was a song I grew up with. Like how a Disney movie. Like I always wanted to be the princess in the Disney movie. I mean, every girl wants to be the princess in the Disney movie, singing that song,
Hmm.
and uh, that was just amazing. Uh, our voice. When I saw his face, when we were rehearsing, I knew he believed in me. Like I knew he was like he was like, "Oh my gosh, you sound like Celine." And I was like, "Well, I've been singing this song for the last 25 years, but I'm just like the way that him and I blended together, that's also something I can't explain. It just happened. And because I've rehearsed that song so many times and I've sang it on so many different occasions with other people, singing it with the actual artist just brought so much more out of it for me. And it was so much more like meaningful because I was like, oh my gosh, I'm able to do he won a Grammy for this. Like, that's something like amazing. So our voices, yeah, our voices blended together. And I will say honestly, Chris, I mean, I've worked with a lot of different people and I'm very easy going when it comes to, I don't want everything to sound the way it should. I want it to sound natural, and I feel like because I've worked with so many people and so many different artists, um, I've it's not even about knowing the person. It's just about knowing how to work well with somebody and knowing how to kind of like, you hear them sing once, you hear them sing twice. Like my ear for music is just I have that ear. So it's like, I could blend my voice with a lot of different people. And throughout the years, it's just proven to me that they're like, oh my gosh, have you sang with this person for years? And I'm like, no, actually, this was like our second performance together. So it's about learning how to work with somebody and just blending, like having that ear for music is so important because that's how you blend well. And
Hmm.
sometimes the other person's following you, sometimes you're following the other person, but to know how to actually work well with somebody, I think that has a lot to do with it. And not just wanting to steal the spotlight for yourself, because I'm not going to just go and blast out a part of my song. If I'm doing a song with a duet with somebody, unless I have to blast out that part of the song, I'm not trying to I'm trying to blend. I'm not trying to overshine anybody, if that makes sense to you.
Hmm. Yeah, I agree with that. Um, so yeah, that was must have been amazing thing with people, Bryson. Wow, I've always wanted to link. Well, I've always wanted to sing with Josh Groban, and but if I had a chance to sing with Elton John, I'd sing "Goodbye Yellow Brick Road." And if he hated singing that one, so I'll sing it then. Give me those big glasses, and you know. But Jackie, what was going through your mind the first time you sang at Carnegie Hall? Now, of all the venues you performed in, was that the one that you felt most spiritually powerful?
I mean, Carnegie Hall was amazing. I was young. I was very young singing there. My music teacher actually had um, our end of the year recital, as we called it, there, and that was special. I mean, Steinway Hall was special. Um, there's a lot of special places that I've sang at. Um, I guess if I went back now as an adult, it would probably feel a little differently. I would feel a little different, but I'll never forget it. So there's a lot of performances I've done where, it's kind of like, because you've done so many, it's like, was I there? Was I really there?
Mm.
Was I really here? And I'm sure I'm forgetting to mention some that have resonated with me. But Steinway Hall, I mean, those gorgeous pianos, like the glass windows, like being just in New York City, like, that's not really an opportunity you get very often. So, oh yeah, I definitely remember. But I think the experience I had there would have been different now because I'm an adult and I have a little bit more, uh, under my belt, as you could say. And I've
Yeah.
experienced a lot of different places. I've done a lot of things for law enforcement. I'm very big
Hmm.
on backing up all of the men and women who protect us each and every day. I think it's appropriate to mention that since it's July 4th, and we're America because we're strong. And you know what? For the people that go out and are protecting us each and every day, that's why we're here, and we have to give them a lot of credit. And I've always backed up our men and women in blue and all of the people who put their life on the line each and every day
Hmm.
for us. And uh, I sang at the county center, at the Westchester County Center, and that was definitely special. I sang for it was a law enforcement memorial, and when they read off all those names of all the men and women who have died in the line of duty, it just hits, man. I mean,
Mm.
I'm surprised I never really broke down. Like, I mean, they had me do the national anthem, God Bless America, Amazing Grace. I mean, people of the loved ones who have passed in the line of duty were in the audience, like just crying. Like,
Mm.
sometimes I can't look at I can't look at my audience. I have to kind of look beyond, like, as they say,
Hmm.
Aldila, beyond, because it really is emotional. It's emotional. When you think these people just they want to protect us, they're just trying to make it back home. And I definitely that always I never said no to any of that. I never said no. Like when anybody ever asked me to sing for law enforcement, it was always a yes because that's really important to me. To back the men and women that fight for us each and every day, that just want to make it back home to their families. But they're,
Yeah.
I don't think that they get enough credit. I don't think that enough people give them enough credit. Um, so that's definitely special to me.
Yeah. I had a I had a Nicole Butler Vegas. She was an actress, and she was a veteran. And any artists I have that are veterans, just say thank you for your service. But when you have someone I had the other day, he was a firefighter, then he became a police officer, and now he plays music. You have to think, wow. And he said he's seen some. He said to me he's seen some things that nobody ever should see. And I'm like, wow, yeah, I can see if you're a cop,
Yeah.
and yet you sing about it. So it's amazing what you find out. Jackie, how did winning Italian American Idol shape your confidence as a performer? And was that your most unexpected career moment so far?
Hmm. I don't think that was my most unexpected career moment, but definitely a special career moment. Uh, it just, I mean, I don't really feel like it boosted too much of my confidence because I was always very confident from starting at such a young age and learning all the Italian and pronouncing it all correctly. That was the beginning, and then then you put the feeling into it because you know what those words mean. Even though I don't fluently speak it, it's like when I sing it, I know what I'm singing. But I think it was just like a highlight in my career. I don't feel like it really did anything as far as confidence. It was just a proud moment. Like it was a proud moment. Definitely proud enough to, I mean, it was. I made my grandfather proud. He was still alive when I won that idol competition, and he was like so proud of me. And I give him a lot of the credit for that because he was the one who instilled that into me. And uh, I think that uh, the most highlighted moment in my career yet was singing for the president. I really feel that because not many singers could say that they've done it. And I know this particular president, people have their own feelings about, but I just think it's the president, even if it was the president, the past president, or, you know, it's the president of the United States. I mean, when do you ever get to say that you sang for the president of the United States? So I think that really stood out. Um, in the last couple of years, people have been like, wow, like she must be good. She sings for the president. Let me give her a listen. And I've climbed a lot. I've climbed a little bit up the ladder since then. Because when you sing for such an icon,
Hey,
it
hey, hey! What did we say about you tooting your own horn?
when you sing
I'm
for such an
joking.
icon, though, it's like wow, like who is she? Like I've never heard of her. How did she get to sing for the president? And it definitely made me stand out. Like I said, I don't like to toot my own horn, but I feel like that separated me from a lot of the singers out there because it's just a known fact. Like, how many people really get to sing for the president of the United States? It's a special honor. What an honor it
Hmm.
is to do that. So it definitely, it's something I'll never forget.
Yeah,
Never.
I saw that
And
photo that
hopefully
Jim
one
gave
day
me
I
of
can
you.
do again. And maybe I'll be
Yeah,
singing for a different president. Who knows? But
why not? Yeah, it's awesome. And even if you were around during Ed Sullivan's show, he probably would have asked you to sing with him as well. So, you know.
Probably.
Probably, I don't know. um, there is one thing I want to ask you, Jackie, about something. So, okay, what does it mean to you when people call you America's sweetheart? Like, what does that mean? What is it, where did you get that from? Why you?
Well, James and I kind of came up with that together. You said it jokingly one day, and he was like, "You're just like a sweetheart." But because you sang for the president, and you're so patriotic, and you do God Bless America beautifully and the national anthem beautifully. I just want
Okay, okay.
I want people.
I'll tell
Okay, go ahead. You go. Go ahead.
because she is so genuine, and because the sound and the voice and the person all coincide and match. You know, she's best representative of what was always good in this country and honest and pure and like you don't find that in music. You don't find that in the music industry, and you don't find that in people that you meet in everyday life. And it just kind of resonated. Like some people could be, um, the king of rock and roll or the queen of R&B. She truly is America's sweetheart because she embodies and tells the story and brings you exactly to where you were, what you were doing. And like I always say, it's the soundtrack of our life. You remember what you were doing, when you were doing it, how you were doing it, who you were doing it with. And these songs bring back memories. And outside of being a storyteller and a vocalist, she is that person in real life.
Hmm.
And anybody who's blessed enough to get within 5 feet of her will know and feel the same thing.
Right, and
Mm-hmm.
I also feel like it's very important to like embody that we have to stand together. We have to stand united. I want to bring that out. I want to make America's music better. I want to make the music better that we listen to. I want people to so as far as America, like I want everybody to be together. I want people
Hmm.
to find similarities and stand united. And because I'm so patriotic, that and I am a genuine person. I I just I want like peace in this world. We're so divided in so many different ways, and I just want to be able to bring that. Like I wish I
Hmm.
could do it on my own, but I don't think I can do it on my own. I really only think God can do that. And if we've taken him out of a lot of things, and I think that he needs to be put back in a lot of things, because without God, it's going to crumble. People are falling apart. People are bashing one another for being this religion and that religion, and you're black, you're white, you're Spanish, you're this, you're that. Everybody's We all bleed the same. I mean, we all have to stand united, because otherwise we're going to crumble as a country. And I feel like that's another movement in itself, and I don't think one person can do that other than God, really.
Okay. What does it mean to you? Music is my ministry.
Touching people, showing them my light, showing them the goodness in my heart, preaching hope, faith, love, uh, the feeling that it gives you when I sing. It'll give you a feeling, believe me. It'll give you a feeling, because I put my heart and soul into every song I do. And you won't hear me do a song that I'm just You won't hear me do a song. Like, I won't do a song that I can't feel. You'll never hear me do a song that I can't feel. I
Mm.
won't. I just won't do it because it won't come out the same and it won't resonate with people the same. And I just want people to, I'm not trying to convert people to, believe in something that they don't believe in. But I'm trying to give them that sense of hope and peace and letting them know where it comes from inside of me. And I think that that's really what ministering through music is. Elaborate, James, because I know you have something to say. You had that smirk on your face.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I mean, it's when you show one or you show someone, it's like, where are you happy amongst everything that's going on in your life?
Mm.
And I'll tell you that since we met, our lives have changed for the better and for the worse in some ways because all the enemy and the opposition is going to go against you because it knows that you're trying to what message you're trying to send out there musically and spiritually. And even though you don't know who you're singing for, who you're playing for, but the music speaks
Volume.
the word. Yeah, it speaks volumes. And I guess to say that, this is a long path, but it's the right path. And
Mm.
you know, and whether you're sing country music, whether you sing classical crossover, whatever you sing is representative of you.
Mhm.
Whatever you play is representative of you, but also your beliefs and also where you grew up and where you went to school and your friends and your family and everything else. And if you're out there doing profane things and
Mm.
singing music that is hurtful to people and is destructive, then what kind of elements are you trying to combine? You're saying that this is who I am. I'm out there to hurt people,
Yeah.
but they may say, well, you know something, but I'm not that type of person. But that's what you're conveying.
Mm.
So again, what this is all about is the words and the tone are more than musical. They're spiritual and it's real. And I know that makes sense to the both of you, but it takes it up to a higher level. And like I said, to be able to be given the gift to do this is something that I've been waiting for such a long time, and I know Jackie has as well.
Mhm. Minister through music. Just put the peace back in America. Just instead of talking about killing and selling drugs to the youth and saying all these horrible, profound things in songs. And I just feel like it could dig a hole for people. And why not put some positivity out there? Why not, why not
I,
and
and
embrace
that
that? Why embrace all these horrible songs that will just put you in a depression and just bring you down? We want to lift people up. We don't want to push people down. There's so much of that in the world that I feel like people are looking for that, like looking for that light, looking for the light at the end of the tunnel, looking for the positivity. And there's so much garbage. There's just so much garbage. And it's like, you just can't get away from it. Every station you turn on, you hear something bad, you hear horrible songs that just make you think about horrible things. I mean, and that's not what America was back then. Like I always say, like I tell James this all the time. I wish I could go back to like the traditional Christmas. Like
Hmm.
everybody together, not hustle and bustle and buying this one a gift and worrying about this and worrying about that. It's like I wish I could just go back to the traditional way that America. I feel like I feel like America was greatly blessed by God years ago. And things are just crumbling. And we have to put like if not us, who? Who's gonna do it? If not us, who? We have to be we all have to be this movement to put that positivity, to put the American dream back together, to make people believe that they could do things that they want to do and it's like the families come together, everybody come together. Like I wish I lived back. It sounds like I lived back in the 1950s when American families were, and I'm so
And beautiful 50s cars, the 57 Chevys were in 63
so
Thunderbirds. So yeah.
traditional like that. I have so many traditional values, and I don't know if it's just who I am as a person, how I grew up in that in the kind of family I grew up with, everything. You know, we weren't rich, but we were rich with love. I was given so
Hmm.
much love, and just the way that my grandparents grew up and the stories they told me and the things that they went through and living through the Great Depression and all of this, and their parents coming over the boat and trying to make a better life for themselves. Like, where is that American dream? Where is that? Like, why did that fade out? That's what I wonder. Like, why did that fade out? And how could we push that back to make America better and great? And I feel like if we could try to do something through music, I mean, that's where our gift is. That's where our gift is. And other people have gifts in other different, places. And I just feel like that's important. That's very important to me. I
How?
And you know, Chris,
the music
Yeah.
she
change.
Jackie Jackie would tell you, you would have thought that we grew up on the same block in the same family, having the same values, and it's like what blows your mind is we're in an ever-changing world. Everybody's living off of one of these,
Yeah.
and
Nobody talks anymore.
I know I'm on the
no,
subway every day and on the bus, and all they're doing is going like this.
Right.
Meanwhile, I'm just standing there. I'm thinking, is there anybody here who want to talk? No, all 100 of you are on the phone. I remember 20 years ago. I was like, "Hey George, how's your weekend? Not bad. What subway stop you? This and that." And we're all talking. So yeah, you're right. This is like evil.
no, it's like hold
Just
on,
kidding.
Chris. Let me ask you a question.
Very helpful in a lot of ways, but I feel like it's it's a blessing and a curse.
So do you think your like how do you stay grounded in your values while navigating the music industry? Do you feel that you kind of shy away from your faith, or can you balance the two, or even balancing as with motherhood as well? That's something interesting.
That's challenging enough in itself. I get
Hmm.
I have to get through a lot of motherhood through prayer. I will say that. Um, but no, I mean it always stems back to that one thing. It's who I believe in, and it's the God that I trust in and I look to for everything. And it's my prayer, and it's the people that are around me that I'm surrounding myself with, that I allow a part of my life to push me or to lift me up spiritually when I'm having a bad moment or a bad day. Um, and you need people there. You need like you need people there for you. But when no one's there, somebody always is, and I look to him for everything.
Hmm.
So to get through my motherhood, to drive through motherhood is a crazy drive. To to juggle that and have to do a show, and I'm feeding this one lunch or have to get dinner prepared, and then I'm like, okay, I'm off to a show. Like, I'm literally praying my way through it, because it's a lot. It's a lot to juggle, and um,
Hmm.
it always stems back to that one thing.
Okay. Yeah. I actually had one more question for you, but I thought I'd give you two. This one I think is very important. And Jim, I want you to answer it too. If you could
Oh
sing
boy.
one song to the entire world, if you could sing one song to the entire world right now, what would it be and why? You first, Jackie.
If I could sing one song to the world,
For me, it would be a one to teach the world to sing in perfect harmony. That one. That was like 30, 40 years ago, Jim. The Coca Cola song.
Yeah, I'm not. I don't want to date myself at all. Um,
So, what do you think, Jackie? You want to think about that one first?
if I had to sing one song to the world,
Yeah.
um, I think it would be Amazing Grace.
Oh,
I knew she was going to say that.
really? Yeah.
I think it would be
Hmm.
Amazing Grace. I think.
And nobody sings that
Um,
anymore. It's always Hallelujah, Hallelujah by Leonard Cohen is always the song that people choose.
Amazing Grace. What about
How about
you,
you, Jim?
James?
Yeah. James Norkawich
I, I'm split on two. What the world needs now is love,
is
sweet love.
love. Yeah.
Is the only thing. And a song made famous by the Chambers Brothers. People get ready
Hmm.
Oh.
because of
Hmm.
just it's telling the story of we're in the world and when being a believer and through music, all that coming together, people people get ready. There's a train a coming. Don't need no baggage, just get on board. And it goes, all you need is faith. You hear the diesels humming. Don't need a ticket, just praise the Lord.
Actually, want to ask. So, if someone came up to you, Jackie, and said, "I want to be like you. I want to do what you do," what would you be your advice to them? I said this as one artist, and they go, "Don't."
Oh God! Oh God! I don't think I would do that. I don't think I would do that.
That's what he said. He goes, "Don't."
Well, I mean, if somebody wanted to have my gift, you mean, or if somebody just wanted to be like me?
Be like you. Like they want to sing. They want to be America's whatever. Anything.
With already having a voice or not?
They want to do what you do. They want to be up there. They want to sing. They want to do like America's Got Talent. They want to be recognized. They want to get out of being bullied. Whatever. What would you tell them that makes them go, "I can't wait," or maybe not?
Um, I would. Well, first I would probably ask them questions, and I
Hmm.
would probably say, "Well, what is it that you think that God has given you? What talent do you think God has given you? Um, and how could that change the world? And how could you help that change the world?"
Hmm.
Um, Now, if they already have a voice and they want to sing like me and they want to do what I do, um, I mean, it all comes back down to what I believe in and who I believe in. Pray about it. I would tell them to pray about it. I would pray with them about it.
Hmm.
Um, it's it's a hard question because not everybody is meant to do this. not everybody is meant for music. And I know a lot of people want it so bad, and work on it so much, but they haven't discovered what God has given them, because everybody has their own talent. And
Hmm.
sometimes it takes a long time for you to discover that talent. And it could be the
Mm.
simplest thing. It could just be loving on one another, loving on a person, loving on people, changing one person's life. It could be anything, and I just feel like, the prayer really helped me navigate through what I'm doing now. It took a lot of prayer. It took a lot of years. It took more years for James than it did for me. But you know what? We found one another. We're collaborating, and we're gonna make this. We're gonna make a bold statement with what we're about to do. Um,
Yeah, it's
and
like
I
that
just,
song, The Prayer. Remember? I pray you be all right.
which I also sing.
Hmm.
Yeah, I mean, it's about praying. For me, it's about prayer. It's about listening to my spirit, what my spirit's telling me to do.
Hmm.
Um, and sometimes your mind can play tricks on you. And
Hmm.
if you don't really follow your heart, it's not going to make you happy in the end. You
Hmm.
know, your mind can be
Exactly.
telling you one thing and your heart can be telling you another. And if you don't really follow your heart, what you feel inside, like you could be scared, oh, this is not going to work out, my mind's playing tricks with me, like, but just follow your heart, give it your
Hmm.
all. And that's my advice. I would probably tell the person, just follow your heart, follow what your heart tells you what to do, give it your all, pray about it, and you might succeed, you might get answers, you might not, you might succeed, you might fail, and that's okay. Don't ever give up. Get back up and do it again.
Hear that, James?
Yes, and many times I guess we get just a perfect segue. We get discouraged and we want to give up because we've been we've been beaten and the road gets bleak and things, and you don't ever see the light at the end of the tunnel.
Hmm.
And sometimes maybe you're being tested. Sometimes maybe you're making the wrong actions. Sometimes you don't know who you're going to go on this journey with. And that was the thing. You know, God has given us all gifts. And, you know, she, of course, has the voice. And then after getting to know one another and share our stories and share our backgrounds, music, like she can tell you that, Jackie can tell you that, like songs were coming out of my head, and it's like check your email, and there's four songs. She goes, "When did you just do those?" I said, "In the last 10 hours," and like never had I was able to hear something new before,
Hmm.
and the level of inspiration and just and I mean, and we're big Christmas fans, and of course, Christmas is kind of my thing. But now I found someone who Christmas is also her thing too. So now, it's gonna be exciting to see, you know, what's gonna come together. And again, it feels like it's only been a month or 2 months, and yet, we go, wait a minute, we already went through like two seasons, no, no, winter, spring, and then like summer, and before you know it, it's going to be Christmas time.
Hmm.
I know.
So again,
We're going to
you
start
know,
working
like
on
she
that.
said,
Yeah.
yeah.
Chris's album starring Jackie DiMaggio.
We'll
Sing
bring up
Soul
some
Man,
old
please.
favorites.
I'll make sure I sing it especially for you, Chris, and I'll send it right to you.
Thank
You'll be
you.
the first one to
Thank you.
hear it.
Yay. Okay. Well, thank you so much, Jackie, for the opportunity to interview you. Everyone, all of her links will be linked down below, including James Norkawich. And
Thank you.
yeah, thank you so much. And
Thank you so much.
what's you're very welcome. And thank you, James, for this whole thing and being my co-host. And
Thank you.
I also, yes, it's Friday the 4th. Happy Independence Day, everyone.
Yes.
Okay. Thanks, everyone. Bye.